Okay.
I always keep my hat on, it's not an affectation. And you take it off in bed.
Okay, Karen,
Right.
just running at speed.
So what's your name?
My name's Alex.
Alex. And your surname, Alex?
It's McLaw.
Could you spell it?
M-A-C-L-U-R-E.
M-A-C-L-R-E.
You. Yeah.
And how should we describe you as an anarchist?
Yeah, a member of...
Whitechapel Anarchist?
Yeah, just an anarchist will do whatever. Yeah.
What did you do on the demo?
On the demo, I just went to support the students that were down there, so I just observed really. I got down there a bit later on, but yeah, he did a pretty good job of it. He made the point quite clearly made, I think.
Yeah. Were you involved in any of the stuff that went on about?
No, I was there. I was watching what was happening, and I was cheering them on and having a thoroughly good time. But no, I wasn't inside the building or on the roof or chucking fire extinguishers or anything.
Okay. All right. So there's another demonstration coming up. I mean, are you going to be involved in that?
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely support that because, like the way I see it is that what happened the other day at Millbank should just be the start of a much bigger movement. We've made the point now, but now we need to hammer it home. So I'd encourage all students, all the school kids, everybody to get out onto the streets and carry on the momentum that we've just got started going.
But what about the violence that was associated with it? Would you encourage them to be peaceful?
Well, I wouldn't say be peaceful or be violent. I think people need to go and make their own decisions about how they want to act on the day. I mean, if people are very angry, then they've got to let that anger out, haven't they?
What's your prediction about what could happen on the 24th?
I don't know. My prediction is that there'll be mass walkouts across schools and universities, joined by lecturers, I think a lot of them. I think that it'll be a good day and that people will get out and be angry, be on the streets and be making themselves heard.
And why is anarchists involved in this?
Well, as anarchists we're involved in this because we want to look out for the interests of normal working people. And as far as we're concerned, we're being faced with attacks left, right and centre right now. And this attack on education is just one aspect of that. So we need to be fighting back on every level. And you know, when we're on the streets, we're not just out there because we're worried about education. We're worried about a whole other host of things. We're worried about housing, we're worried about benefits, NHS and all that. So it's not just education that people are worried about and people are angry about. But you know, I think there's a lot of things that people are angry about and that's why they'll be on the streets.
Well, I mean, there was the scenes we saw, which some people say are pretty small. Do you think that's going to be the end of any smashing things up and any glass being broken? What do you
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all because people haven't, you know, we want to make the changes and as it is we're not getting any changes. So people have to vent their frustration and, you know, this is sometimes that action is the only way to make your point.
What kind of action?
Well, actions like we saw at Millbank, actions, people being on the streets and angry and, you know, going for it.
What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that? Well, I mean people, you know, just making their actions that they feel necessary to make their anger heard.
Spell it out, what are you talking about?
Well, I can't spell it out much more than that. I think people are going to be on the streets, they're going to be angry, and then, well, whatever happens, it happens, won't it?
Okay, thank you. Good stuff. Okay. Thanks very much. Right.
Okay, just running up. I'm running at speed again, Gareth.
Righto, so what's your full name, please?
Martin Lux.
L-U...
X.
Martin Lux, and you're a Whitechapel Anarchist?
That's right, I live in Whitechapel and I'm a member of the Whitechapel Anarchist Group.
Okay, well Martin, why will the anarchists be on the streets to support the students?
Well, I think if anarchists are on the streets to support the students, it'll be because they are students and school kids themselves. That's why they'll be there.
What do you think could happen on the 24th?
I've absolutely no idea, although I do predict that there might be, it might be very large scale. And I think that these students are important, but I think it's the school kids that are going to make the running this time. Already on the internets and already by word of mouth, I'm quite sure all the school kids are aware about it. And there's even talk of them going into the classrooms themselves and dragging out their schoolmates and going from schools to school. And that has happened around here before when it had the outbreak of the war. the school kids came out spontaneously. Now I expect it to be a lot bigger and a lot larger and a lot angrier.
What do you mean by angry?
By angrier, I mean more kids out to be louder and more shouting, and the kids are probably, I don't know what they're going to do, but they'll probably want to march wherever they want to march. They're not going to let anybody stop them from marching, and I think they'll be angry enough to prevent that. I don't think that they exactly know what they want to do. They haven't got plans. They're kids. It's spontaneous. What will happen on the day will be entirely spontaneous. Nobody's going to plan it out. It's just going to happen.
So, I mean, you've read the press. There's been a lot of stuff about this mindless violence. Are you saying that this is just the start? Spell it out.
Well, I mean, I was in bed ill and watching it all on the television, and a few smashed windows and so on. I mean, by continental standards, or even by football standards, not very much really. But I do admit that it went far beyond anything that we've seen for a long time. And as far as I'm concerned, from people I talk to, people of my own age and people younger, they've been galvanised by it. They're not condemning it. They're saying, oh, this could be the beginning of something else. They don't just want to see the students running wild. They themselves want to come out into the streets and protest. Think of what the situation is going to be like for a lot of older people like me over the winter. We're facing cutbacks. It's all the fuel prices are rising, food and everything like that. The government's has offered nothing to any of us. It's only taken away things, and people are angry about it. And I think that the students coming out was just the tip of the iceberg, just the very beginning of it.
So do you think future protests will be peaceful?
I don't know how future protests are going to be. They could be peaceful, they might not be peaceful. I'd be surprised if they were entirely peaceful. I think if the police stood back and don't go in heavy-handed, I think that it's got more chance of being peaceful or going along a more peaceable vein. But if the police get confrontational, I think that a lot of these students and a lot of these kids and a lot of their parents, if the police start beating up on the kids, are going to be very angry. It's just going to escalate. It ain't going to just be kids out on the streets and students. It's going to be their parents and their grandparents.
Okay. Thank you. That's great. Much appreciated. Right.
Cool.
Now we just need a set-up shot, which is of anarchists, Whitechapel anarchists doing what Whitechapel anarchists do.